Midterms are right around the corner, and there are all eyes on Nevada. Obama-endorsed incumbent Democratic Governor Steve Sisolak is running for re-election. He's also taking on the Republican candidate, Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo. Press Messenger reports asked 1,000 people, suppose the 2022 midterm elections were held today for governor, would you vote for Steve Sisolak or Joe Lombardo? It looks like it will be a tight race. The results are in, and 42% said they support the incumbent. 47% said they'd support the Republican challenger, Joe Lombardo. So 7% said they would vote for another candidate, and 4% said they're not sure yet. The Senate race in Nevada is also making headlines. Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto is facing off against Republican Adam Laxalt, a former state attorney general. Rasmussen reports asked 1,000 likely voters for Senate, who would you vote for, Catherine Cortez Masto or Adam Laxalt? 43% said Masto, 48% said Laxalt, 4% said they would vote for another candidate, and 5% said they're not sure. So let's bring in Rasmussen Reports head pollster Mark Mitchell to break this all down for us. While this is tight, yes, I mean, technically it's outside of your four-point margin of error. So should the Republican candidates feel really good about where they're headed into Election Day in Nevada?
I'd say yes and no. I would call that a strong, comfortable lead, as you said, outside the margin of error. One thing to point out is neither candidate has hit a majority yet. So there's certainly an opportunity in the next 2 to 3 weeks for that 7% of other candidate in the governor race, or the 4% of not sures, to swing one way or the other. And you know, oftentimes the candidate that's down gains momentum and picks some of that up. But I would say for the Senate and candidate or governor Republican candidates in Nevada, things look pretty good. Now, Nevada's interesting. When I first saw this poll, I wasn't sure what to think, because we always talk about Nevada as this, you know, sort of blue, you know, leans blue swing state. The GOP in the generic ballot are up 9 points in that state. And I had to check, and the number's right. So they're doing 5 point better in Nevada than they are in the rest of the nation. And luckily we asked a question there so I could calibrate my responses. We asked people what their 2020 presidential vote was. And it was, people said it was close. You know, in our poll, the respondent said, you know, about half of them voted for Trump, half voted for Biden. And then we asked them who would they vote if a 2024 rematch were held today, and the candidates were Biden or Trump, and Trump, you know, wins in a 12-point blowout. So you can compare, you know, somebody's 2020 versus their 2022 vote and see who changed and how much changed. And Trumpism is up big over the last 2 years. So Trump beats the generic ballot in Nevada by 3 points. And the generic ballot is beating these candidates by 4 to 5 points. So, I mean, that's something to look at for these races. Why are you underperforming the generic ballot in your state? And one of the things that they could also look at, and let me also step back and say this poll was a sponsored poll, Capital Resource Inc. paid for it. And in all those circumstances, any one of your viewers can go and look at our sponsored polls and download these crosstabs, do this math yourself, right? So what they can do is see by demographic where each of these candidates is, you know, ahead or behind, and then compare that to where the 2024 Trump rematch, where those, you know, where Trump is ahead or behind. And you can very clearly see, for instance, in the Senate race, Laxalt is doing 14 points worse with 18 to 39-year-old voters. He's doing 13 points worse with black voters. And he's doing 11 points worse with independents. And independents are a key thing in Nevada. Almost a third of the electorate there are independent voters. You know, so there's only a third of the electorate is your own party. You have to win half of independents to take home a seat in Nevada. So these candidates need to do better.
Well, that's really important, because I just saw from Ryan Gerdusky, who we had on last week, he has a new piece out on Substack today, and he says that, you know, with independents right now, it looks like they're really breaking towards Republicans. So it sounds like, especially in Nevada, and you asked another question about Biden and his approval, more than half of people in Nevada disapprove of Biden's performance. So this sounds like it's a lot going to be a referendum on the presidency, and that Nevada voters are not real happy with what they're seeing. So we'll have to see how that goes. Thanks, Mark
absolutely.
Mitchell. It's good to see you.
Good
And
to see you too.
we're looking to have you back this week, and we're going to look specifically at Georgia, right? And speaking of sponsored polls, I am sponsoring that, so we'll clarify that up front.
Yeah, I'll be done actually with that one in an hour or two. So.
Oh, exciting. All right. Well, we'll have that sooner rather than later. Thanks, Mark. Good to see you.
All right. Good to see you, Jen.
All right. That does it here for us on this Monday, but we'll see you tomorrow for more Absolute Truth.